They said there's no doubt you'll surely lose. Go ahead and sing your tune. We didn't listen, stayed right on the truth. And now we're on the right side of the news.
All right, well, welcome. I am not Nick, and you
I am also
are not.
not Nick. So we are again on Nick's podcast, and we're both not Nick. So we've at least established that. We've established that we're not Nick. Yes.
Or John.
Or
John
John
hasn't been on in like 6 months. So.
Well, there you go. So I'm not John. I'm not Nick. You're not John. Well, you might identify as John and Nick. You can do that in today's world.
It's 2026. I can identify as a toaster oven if I choose.
That's correct. So welcome. We are here, and there's nothing happening in the world. Show's over. Let's call it a day.
Nothing to report here.
Not a dang thing. There's nothing in the world.
I wish life was boring enough that we can say, hey, happy Wednesday. I'm going home.
Yes. I wish we could say we're watching sports and there's no political undertone, that the Olympic hockey team won and we're all proud of it. Not that they're going to protest stuff. So, the women anyways. There's just nothing happening. There's nothing in the Middle East, nothing to see here. Found out today. On top of our little interaction in the Middle East, we're down in Ecuador doing joint military exercises, like live fire stuff right now in Ecuador. Did not know that.
I did not know that one.
Yeah. So Trump, being a president of peace, has bombed Somalia over 140 times at last count that I can find in the last 12 months. 140 times he's bombed Somalia. Now, this is a third world goat humping country. Why are we bombing them 140 times? We've bombed Syria. We've bombed Iran. Now we're back in Iran. I think we did something in Libya. And now we're down in Ecuador. And, of course, we went to Venezuela. So as a president of peace, he's doing quite peaceful things.
Well, but here's where I'm going to argue with you.
Please, this is what the show's about.
I know. So Iran and Venezuela, those were both very organized tactics, both of them to take out leadership, both of them to minimize collateral damage and not go in with wartime exercise more. We're coming in, strong hammer, we're solving this, we're walking out, game over. Do I think that we need to be involved in any of this crap in the Middle East? My answer is absolutely freaking no. Yeah. And this is going to be very unpopular opinion with some people. And Dad, turn it off. This is not the podcast for you. The Israel or bust thing is getting us into a lot of this crap.
Yes.
When, one, the Bible is very clear that is not the Israel.
No.
That is not, my friend Matt has a podcast that is part of Mountaintop Ultra MK podcast, and he did an episode with Politibible. It's a gentleman on Instagram that breaks down biblical verses and kind of dives into it. And they did a whole thing on this.
Yep.
And it is not the same Israel.
Well,
What's
no,
happening is we've got rich people playing board games with real life people and getting richer by creating these conflicts. And it's the same four people on both sides playing everything against each other. And it's all evil. It's all terrible. It's all a lie. It's a huge mess.
Well, the thing is you're now starting to see, and of course the mainstream media, oddly enough, the mainstream media has jumped on the right side bandwagon about anti-Semitism. And it's not. It's constructive criticism because the reality is I'm not hugely religious left or right, but I know enough to be dangerously aware of what's supposed to be going on. And I don't think that the Israel that the world is not supposed to abandon is not the Israel that we have today. The Israel we have today is purely evil. They control almost 90% of the VPNs that they're asking us to sign up for to protect they're collecting all that data. Many of the world's tech titans who are getting the surveillance state put together with Trump. I mean, if you guys don't believe me, go look up Thiel. What the hell is the guy's name? Thiel. with Planeteer, Plantir. They're building the largest surveillance apparatus ever done against the American people, unwarranted by the Constitution. Jeffrey Epstein and most of his people. And it's now well known that a number of pedophiles have fled to Israel so that they can't be gotten. They can't be prosecuted. So I agree with you.
Ghislaine Maxwell's dad being part of Mossad, you had nothing to see there.
Well, no, and Epstein, I think it's beyond any shadow of doubt. Epstein was a guy who had no discernible talent, was charming, but he became a billionaire on no knowledge and no anything, and yet he was the linchpin between the CIA, the Mossad, and other intelligence agencies, and this is all coming from Israel. So this is not the Israel that is in the Bible, that, you know, the chosen people and all this stuff. This is a different set of elite evil people, Netanyahu being one of them. And I don't know this one's going to go well. Iran is not an unarmed small country. They're punching back. They're punching above their weight. And I've now seen a couple interviews from high-level military types, and they've all said the same thing that General Kane apparently told Trump 2 weeks ago. We don't have enough munitions to do this. Don't do this. Now, Trump's saying that Kane told him to go out there and do it. He hasn't disputed Trump's claim, but there's people who know him and said he told him the exact opposite. So when you say we have become puppets kind of to the Israeli axis of evil, I guess would be the word, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
So there you go. We agree on something.
Yeah. Well, you and I usually do. It's Nick who just likes to poke.
Yeah, Nick likes to poke.
That's why it's poke the hornet's nest. Yeah, because even if he agrees with you, he's going to say he doesn't just to argue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like, there was an interview yesterday that I was watching, and it was somebody interviewing these girls that are out there protesting, I don't know, somewhere back east. And she was asked, what are you protesting? And she said, well, you know, everything that's happening in Iran and the women and, you know, and he goes, well, what about the women? Because here's videos of women who are celebrating the death of the supreme leader, and they're celebrating the end of this regime. And she goes, that is propaganda. And that is, I forget the other word she used, but it was like 100% everything she's falling for.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so she's sitting there and she's getting like irritated because she's
a liberal. She's a liberal. She gets irritated.
But she's seeing proof of like these women. She goes, no, they're crying over the death of their supreme leader. And even when she said it, I'm like, how is she not laughing at herself? Like,
well, you know, this goes back to something else that I'm terrified of. AI is they can make anything look like anything else. And I think it was 2 years ago, they did an experiment with a Grok or Chat, one of the two. And they said, give me a picture of the founding fathers. And it would end up being like 3 black women, 2 Mexicans, and whatever. It was everything but the genuine founding fathers. But if you're one of these people, you believe that stuff. So now here is factual. There are people in Iran and around the world that are celebrating Khomeini's dead. To a liberal, they're like, that's propaganda. That's not true.
right.
Of the objectives that we have publicly stated, getting rid of him, he was a bad dude. Okay. And the problem they're starting to figure out is, they've gotten rid of 40 plus leaders. That's like taking out 40 of our leaders. There's 500 behind them.
Yeah.
And because there was no real good missile inspections, but they were focused on the nuclear material, which it turned out, because you don't know what's true anymore. During the last phase of the negotiation before it failed, Iran admitted they had like 620 kilos, 1,300 pounds of enriched uranium, which they had been saying over and over they didn't have.
Right.
So they said that in the last thing, well, we have 620, we could build 11 bombs. Well, I thought you guys weren't enriching them to do bombs. So they kind of gave their hand away at that. But taking Khomeini out, and hopefully a lot of the clericals, people supporting it, and the thugs at the Republican Guard, nobly good. But it's like we went in and took Maduro out, and then we said we're going to run the country, and it's forgotten. It's back page news now. But it's nothing really got fixed down there because the lady who's now in control is a Maduro, small Maduro.
Yeah, what happened to? I thought Marco Rubio was supposed to be going in there and taking over, and
yeah. There's a lot of things we're supposed to do,
right? And then that became a meme of him sitting on the couch sad, and what happened with that?
So getting back to that lady who didn't want to believe what his now kind of spontaneously broke out around the world. That's the problem with liberals. You can show them factual evidence and they just refuse to either change their opinion, believe it, or they'll yell at you and scream at you. And so unfortunately, we are now at war in Iran, and Iran is now getting back to the missiles. Is estimates have that they had between 3,000 to 6,000 missiles. Well, that's a big difference. That's a lot. And they're bombing the piss out of everywhere in the Middle East. And Jerusalem, I've now seen videos. Again, I don't know if it's AI. I want to just kind of like shrug. I don't know if it's AI. But Jerusalem is getting hammered, and the dome is not working as well as they thought it would. And they're running out of missiles to stop them. So if this thing goes on for another month, Iran doesn't need to win the war. They just need not to lose it, and they will win the war. So they just need to keep fighting. So when you say that girl was being told, here's women celebrating, and she wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. Well, because she's a social justice warrior for women, for the same side that can't define a woman.
Yeah.
And for the same side that wants men to compete against women.
Yep.
You can't make this stuff up anymore. I mean,
insanity is the new norm.
I have said for 20 plus years that I am the furthest thing from a feminist. I will never argue women's rights with anybody because I always wanted to be June Cleaver, right? I just wanted to make pies and stand at my white picket fence and tell the guy when he got home, I love you. I hope you had a great day. I made a pie. Like, dinner's ready. The kids are all clean. And
that used to be okay.
That's what I wanted, right? Yeah. Yet all these women who are like, I'm equal to a man and I can open my own door and I can do this and I can do that, have completely destroyed everything.
Yep.
And now we've got men competing in women's sports, and we've got these weirdos. There was another video. I wish I would have saved that one and pulled it up. Marching up and down the street. There was, I think it said 3,200 of them. Marching up and down the street, half of them completely naked with just stickers on.
Yep.
Screaming, we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. We're here.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
You saw that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Tell me you're evil. Tell me you have an agenda without telling me you, like, and then they say, oh, well, this whole transitioning kids and this whole putting all of this weird crap into the curriculum, all of that is just, it's benign.
Liberals, the thing is, I give no quarter to liberals for this reason. This is their side. But if you ask them one-on-one, do you believe that a kid should be taken from their parents and started chemical castration? Well, not real. But as a group, they believe everything. And their mindset is that they think they're saving other people. That's the problem. That's their entire thing. And we as conservatives are like, look, let people choose themselves. Once they're 18, they are an adult. They can choose to do what they want.
And that's what I've said all the time.
Yeah.
I still don't necessarily agree with it.
Yeah.
But if you're 18, we live in a free country. I can't tell you can't.
Yeah, exactly. And so watching them, destroy femininity, and then the same women bitch and moan in interviews that they can't get a guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love that. They can't get a guy. And you're like, wait a minute, you've destroyed us. Nobody wants to date you because you're going to tell us how you don't need us and you don't want us and we're nothing to you. And then now you're going to say you want a guy because you need help moving that fridge. You don't get to do it both ways.
Yeah, no.
And so when you say that there's that video, if you there's actually a parade in San Francisco. I don't know what the day is with him, but they literally shut down the Castro district and people just walk butt naked.
Oh yeah,
Through the family part, and people bring their
Wiener
families
was
there.
part of it last year.
Was that?
Scott Wiener was part of it last year.
Yeah. And so the people bring their families, their kids to see that as an enlightenment. And there's themes, there's bondage, there's this, there's that, there's people walking on like dogs.
Yeah.
And they're bringing their kids to see that as like some great family outing.
Yeah.
And that's what we've gotten to in this, where every day we're hit war, economic, this, we're being told boys are girls, girls are boys, boys compete in girls sports. You just look at it every day and you just go, what are they going to bring tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, so Wiener is running for Congress.
Yeah.
He wants to be in D.C. He has termed out his time in Sacramento, and he wants to be in D.C. And the thing is, living in the district he's in, it's a very real possibility, unless California wakes up and really pushes back against this, that he will end up there. Mm-hmm. He was marching in that same thing. My friend Michelle, everything she's ever spoke about him, she's brought the picture. And he's in the bondage stuff, the buttless chaps and the chains and the leather and it's disgusting. Walking around with children. Every time you post it, it gets removed as like you're being mean to him. But it's something he's proudly doing and posting on his own socials. And it's disgusting.
Yep. Well, and the problem is he'll get votes from that segment of society because it just shows how forward and progressive thinking he is. That's not what America is about. America is not a forward, progressive leaning country. It was built on hard work, honesty, ethics, small government, low taxes. And this guy is got a really good chance in California by doing exactly that, going out there and being with the people in their element. And that's unfortunate because that means that we'll have that happening at the nation if we don't beat it. And you and I have discussed a little bit, but people ask me why I do this podcast or why I do the radio or whatever. And I just try to bring some information that maybe most people don't know because they're living their life. But we've reached a point where we have to look in the mirror. It's us. We caused this, not the liberals. We caused this. We allowed them. Back in the day when they were such a kooky little voice, instead of shutting them down, we didn't want to be yelled at. We didn't want to confront, so we let them cut. And here we are in 2026 where they have destroyed our schools, our high schools, our junior colleges, our universities, our media, our entertainment. All unions, public and private, are destroyed by liberal mindset, hive mind. And we allowed it. We always blame other people, but when you ask me, like, well, have you voted? Well, I haven't voted in a couple years.
Right. Because my vote doesn't count. Or I live in California, it doesn't matter. Or the election system's corrupted, so what's the point? But you know what? Those are the excuses now for why they're not. The problem is going back a little while where people started saying, God's got this. Why he appoints all leaders. Why do we even need to be involved?
Yep.
Why do we, and I think every single person needs to take the biblical citizenship class by Rick Green and Patriot Academy. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because last night's lesson spoke to all of this. And Tim, oh, I knew it till I said
Joe
it.
Biden's in the house.
Anyway,
Dementia's here. Dementia.
Tim from Wall Builders, he was talking about, the argument, well, God appoints all leaders. I don't need to go vote. It's going to happen. And he says it's the same thing as the man who was sitting on the top of his house during a flood. And
Great
God
story.
sends a boat. And he says, no, I'm waiting on God.
You got to stop there. God doesn't send the boat. He's on the wall. He's on the house with the waters raising. A boat comes along.
Yeah.
And goes, hey, would you like? No, God's going to save me. Then it's up to his waist, and a second boat comes. And would you like it? Nope, God's going to save me. So now he's up to his neck, and it's obvious he's going to die. Third boat comes. Can you want to get in the boat? No, God's going to save me. And obviously the guy washed away and he dies. So he goes to heaven and he goes, God, I believed in you. You were supposed to save me. He goes, I sent you 3 boats.
Yeah.
So
and that's the story he told. One of the 3 was the helicopter and the one he told. But same thing. And it's the same thing. You know, there's that meme going around of, you know, some of you would have told David to pray for Goliath. Like some of you would have just said, it's not your battle. Yeah. Hey, David, go. Don't get involved. Go pray for Goliath, right? Like we've had that mindset for so long of, I don't want to get involved. Oh, it's racist if I vote. It's, you know.
I don't want to be yelled at in the public square.
And what we've done is we've allowed this apathy to come in and completely destroy our country. Because
we've allowed cancer to take over our country.
Yeah, and the thing is all of those things that you listed, you know, and a lot of people call them like the 7 mountains, the 7 pillars, whatever. All of those things you listed, the church used to be involved in.
Yeah.
Up until, you know, the late 80s, early 90s, if you put out a movie that had something horribly risque in it, the church would push back. And that's why the ratings were so hard.
Yeah.
Was because there was this huge religious community that was involved in entertainment. And they said, you can't do that. Like, people won't watch it. You can't do that. It's not okay. And there was that pushback. Well, as soon as we stopped being involved, there was a void and evil just came in and filled it.
Yep.
And
well, you know, it's funny you mentioned that, and it takes us back to kind of where we started the show, and we hit immediately on Israel. And in college, I had a roommate that was Jewish, Roscoe. And so I lived with a Jew for 4 years. Loved him, great guy, still, you know, good guy. However, media, entertainment, most of the big wigs are Jewish, vastly supported by Israel and or supporting Israel. We got to where we're at, I'm saying that axis kind of evil of Israel stuff is they sold us out. That group of people to make money, you know, the money root of all evil. So getting to when you say, you know, there used to be these things, well, over the years, that entertainment industry has almost been completely dominated by one group of people who are now causing havoc around the world. Is there a connection? Why our country, anything goes? Why our movies now are damn near porno movies anymore? And kids get to see stuff 24 hours a day that you and I, as a kid growing up, if we could sneak a Penthouse or a Playboy, it's like, oh my God, that's now a kid can get on there and become addicted by the time he's 13 years old. Mm-hmm. So we've lost our moral compass. And when you're saying the citizen thing, we need to do something. But between being honest, I'm not sure we're going to make it in time. I have voted in every single election where I was president in the United States because I lived overseas for a couple of years. And even then I voted. I got absentees when I was in Europe. I voted in every election since Ronald Reagan when I first could vote at 18. And did I always win? No, but I can always say I voted. And so when I talk to these people who say, oh, I didn't vote, I don't have a lot of time for them. And now we're at this point where our kids are their targets. Mm-hmm. Our schools are cancer. And I don't know the way forward. And so when these people go, well, God will fix it. He relies on you to do some of the work. You got to do some of the lifting.
You have to pick up the stone, right?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. So we have, and even the people who are fighting and awake are not awake. Mm. And this is where I'm so frustrated. I was having this conversation the other day. I'm on a campaign for an independent candidate for governor.
Yeah.
And I get told all the time, what are you thinking? There's no way he's going to win. You've got, these two that are leading, and one of these is better than not getting anybody in. I'm sorry, no. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to fall for that argument because you've got one candidate who, if you turn all of the things he's doing around, it's Gavin Newsom. Yeah. So honestly, like, if my choice comes down to the bad sheriff or a Democrat, I'm just not going to vote for governor. Yeah. I'm going to vote for every other spot.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to vote for governor because you will never catch me putting a mark next to the bad sheriff
Nope.
or a mark next to a socialist Democrat, right? So, but if you look at the things he's doing, the waste, the abuse, the fraud, the corruption, the redundancy, he is so bad.
Yep.
And he's one of the front runners, one of the two.
Well, hold on now. Is he good looking like old Gabby? Because it's you peoples.
I would argue no.
You females
I would
that
argue
put
no.
Gabby there, because that's the thing is I saw something that, again, I don't know how close it was, but it said if men voted for the president, it was like every state but 3 would have been red. But you change it over to what the women were, and women overwhelmingly.
It's charisma, and and that's the argument with Trump, right? Is like, oh, he's just so mean.
Yeah.
But you're not inviting him to dinner.
And he's a
right?
sexist, and yet he has some of his business privately. He has some of the most highly placed women in business are in his organization, and yet they're like, oh my God! And gay people, he's got him in his organization, and they throw out, oh, he's sexist, he's homophobic, and you're like, he's a lot of things, but those are 2 that he's not.
Yeah.
He's a pig, there's no doubt.
Right. Well, and so that's the thing is, and then you see, like, look at his budget, and his wife wants to use this organization. So they get rid of somebody they've been using for 20, 30 years. No reason to get rid of them, but they're using her firm and something that's going to pad her pockets and her friends' pockets, and it inflates the budget by 3 times. If Gavin Newsom's doing that, which, by the way, he is, his wife writes curriculum,
Yep.
and then he says, you're going to read the books and you're going to like them.
Oh, yeah.
We throw a fit. Yet here's this Republican candidate who's doing the same thing, and everybody's like, he's our only choice. He's the only way we're going to keep out of debt.
Yeah.
That is what is wrong with our country.
Yep.
He is not the only choice.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've gotten to a point where politics is an absolute blood sport, and the people who would be good, they're just not up for the battle. And so we get stuck with, I think some people go into it with genuine good intentions, but the system eats away at them and wears them down. I think currently the only 2 worth a damn in Congress is Thomas Massie and Rand Paul. After that, the rest of them could be blown up. I don't care. They're just they're Republic rats and Demo rats, and they're just all part of the Uniparty. Those 2 actually have the stomach to bring out and say what's going on. So when you say, we've gotten to the point where we're having to pick the lesser of 2 evils, there's a theory there, but do you want to die by bullet or cyanide?
Right. Well, and that's the thing. And that's why I said for that race, I just won't vote for one.
Yeah.
Because it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
I'm not playing into the lesser of 2 evils thing anymore.
No.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to fight like hell and push my candidate, who is an everyday person that our Constitution was built on, having everyday people in there.
Yep.
And I'm going to push him as hard as I can and hope I can wake up enough people. But I need 1.3 million people that don't normally vote to come out and vote.
Yeah.
And when even my closest friends are like, sorry, Fox News says I have to pick Hilton or Bianca or we all lose.
Yeah.
No, like you've bought into it. You're part of why it's a problem. You're part of why we'll never win again.
Well, I personally think, and it's my opinion, and Nick taught me this when I first started doing Poke the Hornet's Nest with them, that whenever you say something, always put in, it's my opinion. So it is my opinion, as fatalistic as it sounds. But I want our state to get more liberal. Now, before you go and kick me under the table.
You saw how big my eyes got?
I saw your eyes got huge. Believe me, saying that, I have acid reflux in the back of my throat. The sooner it's going to crash. That's where we've reached. Putting in a school board person here against 5 that are liberal is not in our lifetimes or even our kids' lifetimes going to make a meaningful thing. But when finally we conservatives and liberals finally get sick enough that we no longer have a system, then change is going to come. I'm not sure there's a fix before that. That's my opinion.
Well, and we've only got a couple of minutes, so we'll wrap up. But somebody was pointing out to me the other day, California is so broke They can't cash their checks. They have to have the federal funding because that's what's coming in. And that's the only revenue stream that they can actually rely on, because all of the revenue streams inside our state we're so negative that even when we have taxes and stuff coming in, it's already like a bottomless hole that you can't even see it. So we have to have that federal funding, whether they say, oh, it matters or it doesn't or whatever. We do need it. And so Trump is playing hardball, thinking, well, I'm going to collapse them and then they'll bend their knee and they'll submit. And maybe that is a theory. Maybe that would work. And I can see very well how that could. I don't know how we can get more liberal, more evil, more. We are.
They have plays up their arms.
We are at here, right? And we have people that are like, no, they've already left. Or we have people that are like, no, I'm going to stay and fight because it's worth it. I have kids here. And so I'm like, well, until my kids are old enough, I guess I'm staying and fighting as much as I can. But are we too far gone? If we can't cash the checks, if we can't make things, what stops? And again, am I just a crazy conspiracy theorist, or what stops the CCP from coming in and saying, do you know how much money you owe us? Well, now China owns California. What do? Do you just build a big wall around California and give 30 days for Americans to flee before we all become, what do you do? Where do we go? Because if we get more liberal.
Well, no, we are not at full liberal stupidity yet. There's more that they can unleash, and they will, because they've pushed us so far. They'll continue pushing. And like I said, until conservatives finally say their kids are worth fighting for, and all conservatives stand up and vote and put their feet down and say, we're not doing this. We're not doing drag time story out in front of kids with dildos. Right. We're not going to do that crap. Until we stand up and not just one or two mom and dads who are getting out there and being very vocal. I'm on the radio. Is it me going out and stamping on the corner? No, I'm trying my best to reach more people the most efficient way, which is with Nick and with the radio. But until the people listening, until 9 out of 10 of the people that are listening get off their asses, we ain't seen nothing yet.
And that's where I keep getting this disillusioned idea that we can save it.
Yep. Well, I keep doing the show because I am hopeful, but believe me, you ain't seen nothing what the liberals can unleash on us yet, so it's coming.
Yay. On that note, happy Wednesday.
Have a great day.